All new Pacific Mornings with Will on 531 PI.
It is 20 minutes until 9 o'clock. You're listening to Pacific Mornings on 531 PI. I'm William Terite. It's great to have your company this Thursday. Now, it's set to be a big few days for the Pacific community, both here and abroad, with Niue's 50th anniversary celebration of self-governance due to take place this Saturday, the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Samoa next week, and the second reading of the Samoa Citizenship Bill next Thursday at Parliament. Joining me for a reaction to all this is Deputy Prime Minister Vaovasamanaia, Winston. Good morning to you. Thanks for your time.
Good morning.
Hey, look, can we go there first with the reading of the bill, the second reading of the Samoa Citizenship Bill? We had confirmation yesterday from Prime Minister Christopher Luxon that National now intends on supporting the bill. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm pleased that we have got an agreement from the government side, or from the National Party side at least. And why I say that is because the 1982 legislation had a certain grinding unfairness about it, although at the time, if you follow the speeches of the Samoan leadership in Samoa in 1982, then you could be misled as to what the outcome, how the outcome would look over time. But nobody wants to go back and look at what their leaders said back then, because there was a sense of a new nation, all going to be independent and everything going to be separate, so to speak. So put that aside. The question is, were people who had a right to gain New Zealand citizenship unfairly treated? And my party has always believed yes. And so when this matter arrived, we thought, well, let's see what we can do about it. Let's support the initiative from Te Ana, and we will then look at its detail, particularly as we come to, sorry to be so complicated, but it has a first reading, then it goes to select committee, then it goes to the second reading, then the committee of the whole House. And we can make adjustments and get an outcome that might have additions to it that will be more fair. But of course, there's a range from doing nothing to doing everything. And then there's agreement about what we do in between that would be more fair and have regard to the fact that a lot of island nations, including Samoa, have a depopulation problem, and we've got to be very careful about what the Samoan government thinks, although they have said it's over to you, it's your country, it's your legislation.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Look, I'd actually like to tap a wee bit further into, if we go back to 1982, I mean, did Muldoon get it so very wrong on this?
If I look at it and decide what should be done in terms of the law, then the answer is yes.
Okay. With let's switch tack now. I want to go there with Niue's 50th anniversary celebration of self-governance that's taking place this Saturday. And then
Yes.
we've also recently just seen come out from the Cook Islands Prime Minister Mark Brown that he threw out the prospect of the Cook Islands having its own passport. I mean, both of that, looks as though inevitably those realm countries want to start looking at more fierce independence from New Zealand. What's your take on it?
Well, all politics is about the people in the end, not the leadership, not politicians. What would the people in the Cook Islands want to do? What would they want? That might be not what the politicians want. So I'd like to know that. I'd not make any decision personally myself, from my perspective as the Foreign Minister of New Zealand, until I knew what the people wanted. And in the case of Niue, I went to Niue's 25th celebrations, which was quite a long time ago, 25 years ago, as you know. And again, they got me outside after a function. I never got home till 4 o'clock in the morning, I tell you. And for the leadership drilled me about wanting the S put back in a capital S put back in the special relationship. And I got it. And I think we've got it back. But here's the point. We've got a special relationship. And if you look at those island nations, compare them with the rest of the blue continent, and in fact, the rest of the small countries of the world, they're in far better shape than probably 95%.
Yeah.
That can't be denied. So we made some mistakes on both sides. But look, we should appreciate our relationship. We won't always get it right, but let's keep on trying to make the special relationship work. That's all I say. And have the dialogue and ensure that the passing fad of temporary empowered politicians should not be our driving motivation. It should be the long-term interest of the people we're talking about.
From a foreign policy perspective, would it be perhaps damaging for New Zealand if, say, Niue and the Cook Islands went full independence? And what I mean by that is we spoke to Dalton Tagelagi about this very prospect, and he expressed a desire for Niue to become fully independent at some stage, though he conceded not during his lifetime. But we've got just an example in Niue at the moment. You've got China working on its infrastructure projects, and Niue has also entered into a special diplomatic relationship with the US. I mean, inevitably, it kind of looks as though perhaps other nations are trying to cozy up to our Pacific neighbours.
Well, you've just said that. And the question we've got to ask, if you're a Niuean or if you're a Cook Islander or if you're a Tokelauana, are these the values that they ascribe to that are ours?
Mm.
And would they in the long term be in our long-term interest, whereas we could get more cooperation from, say, a country like New Zealand and its partners and get far more done? Can you hear me?
Yes. Dare I say then, is it more so be careful what you wish for? Or is that too facetious?
No, that's not being facetious. Be careful what you wish for, because at no time in any way have we sought to interrupt their independence of their culture, their procedures. We've done our best, and I think have done a marvelous job. Because I've traveled the world, I see extensively how things have been so disastrous. I've seen failed states, and look, our support for the Tokelau and for the Cook Islands and for Niue has been massive.
Mm.
I'm not going to let anybody think they can say that we haven't done our very best as New Zealand taxpayers. And we've got New Zealand taxpayers working 2 to 3 jobs. Many of them are Pacifica people, and they would expect that their people back home are appreciative of the effort that their taxes makes to their country.
Mm. If we just, I know you can.
Well, just one thing.
Sure.
By the way, I'm talking about 3 countries that are actually paradise
Sure.
compared to a lot of the circumstances in New Zealand.
Mm. Certainly. Look, if we go there, I know you can't. It's quite tricky in terms of the HMNZS Manawa Niue, but I'm more so talking at it from a foreign policy perspective. Is this harming our relationship with Samoa?
Not for those who look at it rationally, fairly, and maturely. Here we were, mapping the boundaries or the geographic boundaries of Samoa, as attempted to help with a new boat, which former Defence Minister Ron Mark and I argued for and got it commissioned and brought it out of Norway, and had them being enormously generous. They put millions of dollars of extra utilities on it for free. It was a very great gesture on their part. So we've got this boat that's excellent for what we should be doing, and we've had a terrible accident.
Mm.
So let's be fair here. And then at the same time as this was happening, we had hundreds of people on the ground helping Samoa getting ready for CHOGM. Our people were already there getting and helping and setting the things up. So in that sense, we regretted terribly that we had an accident, but these things happen. We're going to find out what happened.
Yeah, certainly.
And by the way, I'm pretty confident all of those containers will be off the reef very, very quickly. I think it'll be maybe a matter of hours rather than days. And the second thing is the oil escape has not been as widespread and not as bad as we thought. And so those utilities to clean up the effects are in full sway now. And then we've got to get the rest off the boat and solve this problem. But we've had a terrible accident. We're not doing anything other than putting all our resources and some from other countries in to helping us fix it.
Certainly. Hey, look, I just want to quickly talk about New Zealand first, if I could, just briefly. You recently had a meeting. Look, how did